Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Jake. This is the podcast where we explore interesting ideas while helping you build practical English skills. Today, we're talking about something many people do every day, often without noticing: daydreaming.
That's right. Daydreaming means allowing your thoughts to move away from what you are doing now and imagine other people, places, plans, or stories. Jake, be honest. Do you daydream often?
I do, especially when I'm traveling on a train or washing dishes. Sometimes I imagine a future trip. Other times, I suddenly remember a conversation from 10 years ago and think of a better answer.
That is very common. Daydreaming is not always a sign that you are lazy or not paying attention. In fact, the brain may use quiet moments to organize memories, solve problems, and imagine possibilities. The important question is not whether we daydream, but how we use it.
Let's begin with a useful expression: to drift off. If your attention slowly moves away from the present, you can say, "I drifted off during the meeting." This does not always mean you fell asleep. It can simply mean that your mind wandered.
Good distinction. My mind wandered is another useful phrase. For example, I was reading an article, but my mind wandered, and I started thinking about my weekend. The word wander usually describes walking without a clear direction, but we also use it for thoughts.
And here is a practical tip for learners. When you hear a phrase like, "my mind wandered," do not only memorize the definition. Create a personal sentence. You might say, "My mind wandered while I was waiting for the bus." A sentence connected to your life is easier to remember.
Absolutely. Now, why does daydreaming happen? One reason is that our attention needs a break. The brain cannot concentrate intensely forever. After a period of effort, a short mental break can help us return with fresh energy.
That sounds familiar. Sometimes I work on a difficult problem, make no progress, and then take a shower. Suddenly, an answer appears. I wasn't directly working on the problem, but my brain was still making connections in the background.
Exactly. We can call that incubation. In this context, incubation is a period when an idea develops quietly while you are doing something else. Here is an example. After thinking about the design all morning, I took a walk and let the idea incubate.
That is a useful word, and it originally relates to keeping something warm so it can develop, like an egg. In everyday English, an idea can incubate too. Another expression is sleep on it. If someone says, "I need to sleep on it," they mean they want to wait and think before making a decision.
For example, imagine that your friend offers you a new job. You could say, "It sounds exciting, but I'd like to sleep on it before I decide." This expression is polite because it gives you time without immediately saying yes or no.
Daydreaming can also help us practice the future. Have you ever imagined how you will introduce yourself at an interview, order food in another country, or give a presentation?
Yes. That kind of imagination is sometimes called mental rehearsal. Rehearsal normally means practicing before a performance, but mental rehearsal happens in your imagination. You picture the situation and imagine yourself using the right words.
Let's try a small example for English learners. Suppose you are going to a hotel. In your mind, you can imagine saying, "Hello, I have a reservation under the name Lee. Could you tell me what time breakfast begins?" Then you imagine the receptionist answering and you asking a follow-up question.
This can reduce anxiety because the situation feels less unfamiliar. The word unfamiliar means not known or not experienced before. If a conversation feels unfamiliar, mental rehearsal can give you a starting point.
But there is a difference between useful daydreaming and daydreaming that causes problems. If you are driving, crossing a busy street, or listening to important instructions, you need to keep your attention on the present.
Of course. We can use the phrase "stay focused." It means continue giving your attention to one thing. You might tell yourself, "I need to stay focused while I'm driving." Another phrase is "bring your attention back." For example, when I notice my mind wandering, I gently bring my attention back to the page.
I like the word "gently" there. It suggests that we do not need to criticize ourselves. Many people say, "I'm terrible at concentrating," and then feel even more frustrated. A better approach is to notice the distraction, name it, and return to the task.
That leads to a simple 3-step exercise. First, notice, my mind has wandered. Second, name the thought, I'm thinking about my vacation. Third, return, now I'm going to read the next paragraph. This exercise is useful for study sessions.
It is also useful for listening practice. If you lose the meaning of one sentence in English, do not panic. You can say to yourself, I missed that sentence, but I'll focus on the next one. Understanding every single word is not necessary for understanding the main idea.
That is an excellent learning tip. Another way to use daydreaming is creative storytelling. Choose a simple object near you, such as a cup, a key, or a backpack. Imagine where it came from and what adventures it has had. Then describe the story aloud in English.
Let's demonstrate. I'm looking at a blue backpack. I imagine that it belonged to a student who traveled through 3 countries. It carried maps, postcards, and a small notebook. One day, the student left it on a train, and a kind passenger returned it.
That was a clear mini-story. Notice the useful past tense verbs, belonged, traveled, carried, left, and returned. Storytelling helps learners practice grammar because a story naturally connects actions and time.
You can also practice conditionals through daydreaming. Ask yourself, what would I do if I had a free month? You might answer, if I had a free month, I would visit small towns and learn how to cook local dishes. This structure is useful for imaginary situations.
Or ask, what would happen if people could communicate with animals? You could say, if people could communicate with animals, we would learn more about their needs. These questions are fun, but they also make you produce complete sentences.
There is one more benefit, daydreaming can help with goals. Imagine a goal clearly, but do not stop there. Add the steps needed to reach it. For example, instead of only imagining yourself speaking fluent English, picture yourself studying 15 minutes a day, recording your voice, and having one conversation each week.
That is important because a dream becomes more useful when it is connected to a plan. The phrase, put something into practice, means start using an idea in real life. You can put your English plan into practice by choosing one small activity today.
Perhaps listeners can try this after the episode. Take 5 quiet minutes. Let your thoughts wander, and then write down one interesting idea. Next, write 2 actions that could develop it. Finally, describe the idea aloud using English.
Here is another practical technique, keep a daydream journal. You do not need to record every thought. Just write a few keywords, such as mountain village, new recipe, phone call. Later, turn those keywords into 5 sentences.
This builds vocabulary in a natural way. If your journal says, mountain village, you can look up related words such as valley, trail, steep, and remote. Remote means far away from cities or busy places.
And remember, daydreaming is not the same as planning. Daydreaming is open and imaginative. Planning is more organized and focused on steps. Both are valuable. You can begin with imagination and finish with a realistic plan.
Let's review some expressions from today. Drift off means your attention slowly moves away, and my mind wandered means you stopped focusing on the present. Incubate an idea means allow it to develop quietly, and sleep on it means wait before making a decision.
We also learned mental rehearsal, which means practicing in your imagination, stay focused, which means keep your attention on one thing, and bring your attention back, which means return your focus after a distraction.
The main lesson is that daydreaming can be a tool. It can help you rest, solve problems, prepare for conversations, create stories, and imagine your goals. But choose the right moment. When safety or important information matters, stay present.
And for English learning, use your imagination actively. Rehearse a conversation, create a story, practice a conditional sentence, or turn a few journal words into a paragraph. Small moments of imagination can become valuable speaking practice.
Thanks for spending this thoughtful time with us. We hope you learned something about your mind and picked up some useful English expressions.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the English Daily podcast, share it with another English learner, and come back for our next conversation. Keep practicing, keep wondering, and remember, sometimes a wandering mind can lead to a wonderful idea.
See you next time.